I believe there has to be logical explanations to things other than the God answer. And so, why do you think, why guys, tell me, why do you think God exists for you? Is it because you really believe there is a higher power out there? Or is it because you understand nothing about yourself and your existence? And because of this lack of understanding, it gives you fear. Oh, I even forgot to talk about death. Death is the other reason. Death is the other reason why God exists. Death. Yes. Because if we understood anything about death, trust me, God would not exist. I know human beings would not attribute anything to God if we figure out the answers. We'd attribute things to ourselves. Yes, apparently. But because we don't know so much, then God exists. So unfortunate. And for me, I really digress. And I say this concept does not make sense. And I digress and I say, for me, God is not a good enough answer. I need better answers than God. Honestly, we all need better answers than God. Now I'm walking reverse so that I can have good sunlight. Hey, I will trip and fall. Huh? So, guys, you tell me, why does God exist for you? For me, does even God exist? Yes, God exists for me. I don't like calling it God because every time I reverse God, it becomes dog. So for me, I just say no. I don't want to call this. If there's something above me that exists, let me call it a supreme creator, but not God. And so for me, yes, I do believe a supreme creator exists, but I believe that supreme creator should not be hidden, should not be mysterious, should be very easy to figure out. I also believe our existence should be very easy to understand. We should be able to replicate what we see. It should not be that difficult, to be honest. It should not be like we're trying to solve a puzzle. Do you figure that we live our lives, all throughout our lives, knowing nothing? It's like we're trying to figure out a puzzle that we will never figure it out. And for me, one thing I'm figuring out is that this idea of God that we have been taught as here on earth is either wrong, the idea that we have been taught about God is either wrong. Something is wrong about the God we have been taught. Either the idea is wrong or the idea is right, and then there's something wrong about the God we have been taught about here. Because again, as I have told you, for me, I have slowly I'm being convinced that earth is hell. I'm slowly being convinced that we're already in hell. That when you die, unless there's a worse place than this that you can go to, then we're already in hell, honestly. And if you don't believe so, if you think that, we have this idea of heaven and hell being a state of your mind, right? For us spiritualists, we have this idea of heaven and hell being a state of mind, consciousness, where your consciousness is at the moment. For me, I do also believe that there's a time, I actually do believe that still, but one thing I can tell you, overall, when you look at the whole earth, overall, we are in hell. Overall, we are in hell, and the God that we read about in the Bible is actually the devil. It's not a God. It's not a God. It's not a good God. It's a bad God. An evil creature. An evil one. Who thrives on pain. Who thrives on suffering. Who thrives on chaos. That's why they even have this whole idea of order out of chaos. From when? Why can't we just have just order? Like, people get me. People do get me. And so, that's why I'm telling you. It's either our idea of God is wrong, what we have been taught about God is wrong, or it is right. And if it is right, then that proves my theory that we are already in hell, and about the God that most people worship is the devil. And yeah, you can see, very beautiful place. Some people will not believe that this beautiful place can actually be hell. It actually can be hell, my friends. Do you know, you're told the devil is a liar, deceiver, a trickster. So if you wanted to trick people, if you actually think about it, it will be the perfect hell. This will be the perfect hell, man. This will be the perfect hell to live in. Discuss with you this idea because I know most people are ignorant. When you're living in your 9-to-5 job, you never actually have time to think. You're in school, you never have time to think. This world always keeps us distracted. I'm telling you, you are in hell. You never actually have time to think about anything. Because if you really sit down and think, you will discover that we don't live in a good place. This place is not a good place. It looks so good. It looks so beautiful. You fall in love with it every single time. The views, because the views are so scenic. Look at the sky. I mean, look at that view behind me. See? We're on top of the hill now. And this is why I say this place is not so good. Because, can you imagine if actually we are God's creation, why do we need to work for money? Me, I don't buy into that whole concept. Fuck that concept of telling me God is good. It's a lie. There's nothing good about our earth. Nothing good about earth. Nothing good about your God, about the God that rules this place. Nothing good. If you believe it's good, it's because you don't think. If you really thought, you would see that it's not good.